Okay guys, this is the second part of our introductory video where Bruce, our social media director, buys himself an ABARTH, gets a great deal, and now we're going through and kind of servicing it, right? Getting it detailed, and then doing a little bit of customization and save some money and do it on a budget, right? So far, you've taken this home, had a fun drive. What else did you do?
Got it cleaned up pretty good. Ended up finding a couple bolts that were supposed to hold pieces on, so got some pieces bolted back in. Got rid of that nasty ratchet antenna that was on there. And as you can see, I've added my Ghostbusters magnets here, just kind of having some fun with it, and you know, it makes me smile every time I look at them. So I've just mostly been cruising it, enjoying it,
right?
enjoying
So now you've had a little bit of time to drive it around. It's been about a week or so, right? So you got a good feel of how the car performs. Now you're going to get the opportunity to do your own service, change plugs, change coils, do an oil change, change some filters, and then afterwards we're going to do some mods, right? All right, so you guys stay tuned. We're going to take this in the shop, and Bruce is going to get started on learning how to do service on his vehicle. Come on, Bruce. Hey, guys. So you get a chance to follow us through the back side of Madness Autoworks, what you don't see online. We passed our social media department. Now we're passing shipping. So if you're ordering us some supplies from us online, you're either getting them from here or our California location. So you can kind of see we stock a lot of things. Now we're in our shop, and hey guys, this is Bill, our shop manager. Bill has probably modified more ABARTHs than anybody in Texas. I'm pretty confident I can say that. That's true, right? So Bill here is going to show Bruce how to do everything himself. So you haven't heard this part. Here's what we're doing. You know he got the car.
Right, I do know.
He's already took it home, he's detailed it, he's got it clean, so he can now walk in here.
Right.
Or drive in here, right? So what we're gonna do is have him do basic maintenance first before we do any mods. He's gonna change the oil, he's gonna change the plugs, he's gonna change the coils, change some filters, and go through the vehicle, just make sure it's reliable, safe, and then we can do the mods afterwards.
Hello, my name is Bill, shop manager, Madness Autoworks, Texas, and today we're gonna work with Bruce on fixing up and servicing his new to him ABARTH. All right, Bruce, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get it on the lift so we can look underneath it. We're gonna do a safety inspection. We're gonna look at axles, tires, brakes, and all that stuff. You know, these are all things you'll wanna know, especially after buying a used car. All ABARTHs are used now, so if you're going after an ABARTH, well, it's gonna be used to be good to do this. So, yeah, there we go. So let's go ahead and get it on the lift. If you do not have a lift and you're gonna use jacks, please use jack stands. That's always it. It's a must. Okay. All right, so let's get it on the lift. Right. So if you have jack stands, normally you'll put jack stands right here, okay? You can jack it up anywhere on the subframe. You can even jack it up here. Put the jack stands here, jack it up from the pinch rail, which is here, and you can put a jack stand here on the spring purchase, both side to side. If you want all four to get it all off the ground. That's basically. All right, so Bruce, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take the belly pan off, okay? Normally, and this one still has them. Here they've got 6 10mm screws. We're gonna go ahead and take that off.
That's cool.
Pull the grill off. All right, main things you're gonna look for on ABARTH, you're gonna look at the axles, brakes, suspension, exhaust, oil leaks, anything out of the norm. Like it may be something they hit something, this bar's bent, look at that fuel tank, make sure that didn't take a hit. That's pretty much it. You also want to look for wear in tires. If it's wearing on the inside, it's probably due for alignment, or something is worn out on the suspension. If you do see any traces of that, where this is probably worn or this is worn more than the outside, you want to wiggle the tire back and forth to make sure nothing is loose or worn out. And then before you just go buy tires, you'll want to make sure that's all tight, and then you buy tires and get an alignment. So Bruce, we don't know the service history of this vehicle, so we're going to go ahead and service it. Right. And we'll document everything we do, and you'll have records of it. And then when it's due, you're going to be able to take care of it.
We'll know what's happening.
And you'll know how to take care of it. So the first thing we're going to do is an oil change.
Right.
All right. So the oil filter for the ABARTH is down there. That means we have to take off this. All right, so what we're gonna do, let's take this off. Let's go ahead and take it off. We'll talk about the max flow that you're gonna put on this car, the benefits of this compared to this, where this is just pulling all the dirty, hot air from the motor, the back of the motor. It's all that heat's going there, where the max flow takes that cold air from here, goes up through here, goes into this pipe, flows into the box, and then into the turbo. That's the pluses of ours compared to what we got going on here. So let's go ahead and take this off so we can do a service. So any of these questions on fluid types, weights, it'll be in the owner's manual. So if you ever not sure, or you can just pick up your phone and use the Googles. But so this is a 540 synthetic. We use synthetic in everything. So what we're going to do is get some 540 for you, and I'm going to show you how to take that oil filter off there. All right, so you're going to use something like this. It's 27 millimeter, and you're going to slide this over that black cap that's holding the oil filter down. So, right. Perfect.
Yeah.
So now we're going to replace that oil filter. This is the oil filter for the car. To get to it, you have to, if you have an aftermarket intake, you have to remove the piping. If you have a stock intake, you just remove the black pipe. It is down in there. It is a 27 millimeter. There's a cap. You just get a long extension, undo it, replace the cartridge, replace the seal, put it down, and then tighten it to the torque. So Bruce, next is we're going to drain the oil. The drain plug's right here. It is reusable. It's got a little rubber seal in there. You'll drain all the oil out. You know, tighten this up to spec, 15 foot-pounds or so, and then wipe all the oil off of it, and then put a fresh 4 quarts of synthetic in it, and the oil change is done. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to put new plugs and new coils in it. We're going to use the new Sealer Concept Power Plus High Performance Coils. Go ahead and get that clamp off first here. Yep, get that out of the way. And all ABARTH, you'll have to do that. Just get it out of the way. So you're going to find a dental pick. Yep, little horseshoe shaped one. And you're going to push on this. At the same time, you're going to kind of walk it off back there like that, okay? So if this doesn't release it, you'll feel it back here. There it goes, right there. There you go, just like that, okay? I did that one for you because it was broken. A lot of them are broken. This here slides out, this yellow part slides out about 3 millimeter, okay? You use a dental pick, or you can use your fingers like this. Anyway, it comes out about, I would say, about that far, and then you're good. And then you just push on that black tab, and then pull them off.
All right. Okay, wires are off.
Once you get all these coils out, you'll want to check it for any oil. These seals sometimes will leak. You'll have to replace the valve cover gasket if it's a lot of oil. You know, a little bit, you know, it's okay. And before you replace these spark plugs, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to vacuum all of this debris, because what happens is you don't want to pull that spark plug out and hit that stuff and it fall into your motor. So good practice is get a vacuum cleaner and just go ahead and vacuum out all the top of this valve cover. And I even put it on the hole itself. And if any debris is in there around those spark plugs, I'll go ahead and it'll get that as well. Cool. So here's the vacuum cleaner right here. The next step is you got a special spark plug socket here. This is a 5/8. You're going to go ahead and remove all 4 of your spark plugs. Lay them out in order so we can see any irregular, you know, anything that looks different from plug to plug, cylinder to cylinder. So how you got them? He's got the scale right here. And it's got little numbers on it. And it's right where you need it.
Hey, go me.
See that? Right out of the box. 2.6 to 2.8. .026 to 028. You can hold this over closer or spread it out. There is a tool, and then you just kind of work it side to side till you get to the gap you need. If you need it the gap smaller, you can tap it on like a workbench gently, very gently, and it'll decrease the gap here, right here, and get you where you want. So we want our gap to be 0.026 to 0.028. Is that correct? All right. So now you're going to take a little never sees, and what you're going to want to do is just lightly, not on the spark, but just on the threads. Just brush a little bit on all 4 of them. Hand start all the spark plugs. Spark plug sockets come with a little boot that's going to hold the spark plug in it and keep it from falling on the floor. Okay. Okay. Gently push it down. Don't let it drop or anything, because you'll just mess up the gap you just did. And what I'll do is I'll just get them all the way down until they don't want to turn anymore, and then we'll torque them to spec. Okay, get tight. So you're going to use a little bit of this dielectric grease. And what you're going to do is you're going to just put a little, just a little bit, like right there, on all 4 of them, and then put them in the car.
Here we are.
Okay, let's talk about your intake for a minute. Right. This is a handmade intake. I have no clue where it came from. It is very, very dirty. So if you wanted to keep this one, we would clean this or replace this. But we're not keeping this, are we? No. So we're going to do the max flow on this car, which we really, really like, because it pulls all that cold air from the front of the vehicle in through this pipe here, in through the filter, and then back into the turbo. This particular intake is taking all the hot air from the motor and all the dirt and whatnot and forcing it into the turbo. So you're taking hot air and shoving it, well, into hot air.
Making it hotter.
Right, exactly. And this thing, so that max flow is going to be big difference for you. Okay, right. A lot of cooler air going in the turbo, and we know how that does. And then once we do the front mount, oh, you're going to be, yeah, there you go. But if this was a stock vehicle, we would replace it with one of these two filters. These are the best on the market. It's a Sprint, it's a non-oil BMC, both Italian. It's oil. I love them both. Some people, you know, whatever your preference, but this was what we'd replace it with. All right, so now let's move on to the tires, and then we'll go inside. We'll do the cabin filter, and then I believe you'll be all up to par. Okay. Inside the door, right here, is what the PSI they should be. Okay. You'll just check them all, front to rear. You know all that. They're different pressures, front and rear. These you're actually due for tires, so we'll replace those. Probably next service you're going to be due for tires. All right, next we're going to check the cabin filter. The cabin filter on a 500 is down underneath that panel right there. You're going to need that T20 that you got there and take that bolt right there out.
Silver guy in the middle.
Right there. Yep. Just pull it. Grab underneath and pull it on. There you go. Okay. This feels good. .5. Go. Grab a hold of it, and all kinds of nature's gonna come out. You'll see this. So, look at that.
Yeah.
This is air. This is the air from outside that goes through your car. This is the stuff you're breathing. It's a new filter. It's in correctly. Little door back on. Okay. Reinstall your 5.5.
All right. Well, all in all, wasn't too crazy difficult of a day. It's just a little warm here in Texas, but that's to be expected. Pretty simple. My car should be running a whole lot better. This guy, though, it was a little difficult to get to, but considering that that's what filters all the air coming out of my air conditioning, I'm glad we got that changed. A little bit of labor and, well, one screw and it came out, so it wasn't too bad. So you pull this panel, pull that panel, and then back in here, it was 5.5 mil. And we undid that, got this nasty thing, and about 2 pounds of leaves came out with it. So, yeah, ABARTH should be running a lot better today.